Hello everyone, we're Group Chamlong, and our topic of the project is Data Visualization Case Study on 120 Years of Olympic History. I'm Nga Yixing, and our agenda for the presentation will start with introduction, giving a brief summary on the background of the topic and the dataset we will be using. Then we will move on to define our task and goals of the project and how we are going to achieve them by using different tools. The main part of the presentation will be showcase our system design and present our findings. Last but not least, evaluation on our design and the summary conclusion. Let's start with some project background. Why do we choose this project? The modern Olympics are leading international event featuring summer and winter sport, probably the most well-known and popular sport event around the world. Competition in which thousands of athletes from around the world gathering together, challenging the human limitation. We believe that the Olympic is more than just a sporting event. It also helps understanding the global history, including shifting geopolitical power dynamic, women's empowerment, and evolving value of its society. And we would like to find those hidden information from game history. Moving on to the dataset we will be using. The dataset is a public available on the internet. We got our copy from Kaggle. The link will be provided in the reference section. This is a historical dataset on the modern Olympic Games, including all the games from 1896 to 2016. Each rows include an athlete participate in a single game, with their detailed demographic information like country, age, and sex, information on the games like where and when it's hosted, also the outcome of the sporting event, like whether the athlete win a medal and what kind of medal he or she got. There are a lot of interesting tasks we can perform with the dataset, but for this project we will mainly focus on two. The first one is explore the demographic characteristic trending in Olympic game history and analyzing factors affecting country winning medal counts. The tools we'll be using in this project are Matplotlib, Tableau, and D3JS for some dynamic visualization. Let's start with the task analyzing winning medal count factors. The Olympic game medal count table can also be an index of geopolitical power dynamic. People watching the sporting event want their country to earn more medals in the games. Are there any affecting factors on how to get more medals in the games? We will analyze data and try to find dependency and correlation on the medal counts. Design visualization to demonstrate those findings. Let's start with the overview on the medal counts through history. Using a dynamic bar chart built by D3JS to present the changes of medal earned by country over the year. The color hue will encode different countries. 2D lens encode the quantitative value of medal counts. Dynamic animation shows the sequential ordering of the top 5 countries. The visualization clearly demonstrates the changes of earned medal by country over the years. Because the result from summer and winter games varies a lot, we did some pre-processing and designed to visualize them separately. This demo shows the Summer Olympics through history. It's easy to compare the medal counts and the trend of the medal counts between countries, and we can also derive the exact number of medals from those countries in a single year. Now I'll pass to my team member to dig more into the task.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm Wen Huiyang, and I'll introduce the medal distribution in China. So I created this polar chart to show each sport category's medals in China and which year it is. So from this map, you can get the information that China's advantage sports include diving, gymnastics, table tennis, and so on. And the most interesting part is that the design has interactive buttons on the top to choose or unchoose the year. So after removing the years, we find that the first medal is created in 1984. And from the color of the map, we can find that China got much more medals from 2000 Olympics. So what factor actually influenced the medals the country can get? The first factor is home advantage. I created this map, also used the Python pie chart for 9 countries, and it's easily to see that most countries that host the Olympics will have much more gold medals compared with its previous and next Olympics results. And it's apparent that the home advantage can bring much more gold medals for the countries. And the second factor is the athletes' average height and average weight. So this data is the difference between the athletes with the medal and without the medal. And we can find that most sports medalists have larger height and larger weight. So for example, for golf, those athletes with the medal, they will have much more height and much more weight so that they can have wider vision and hit the ball accurately. But in the opposite way, the gymnastic player and table tennis player, they are slightly shorter and slightly lighter because they can move faster and keep their balance better. But commonly, if you are an athlete and you have larger height or larger weight in this sport categories, you may have much more chances to win the medals. So this is the medal analysis. The second part is to explore the demographic characteristic trending in the Olympics. So the changes in demographic is a miniature of how the world evolves in the last 120 years. And we started by exploring the data, finding trends, outliers, and features to visualize and analyze interesting findings by our own design to better demonstrate these findings. First one is the height trend. So the height is getting more and more, but there is a slight decrease of average height in 1952. But that is because the record of height was doubled in 1952, so the average height is more balanced, and the overall trend of the height is going taller and taller. And to illustrate this, I specify a sport called basketball. So in this map, you can see the basketball players' average height trend, and actually it is start increasing from the first Olympics. And we can find from these maps that the players or the athletes have better nutrition condition over these years, and they grow taller and taller over these years. And the second, in addition to height, I will also want to analyze the BMI. Because BMI is related to height and weight, so we put it to the same map, and we use the diverging color from blue to red to represent BMI. And we find that the higher the BMI is, that this sport needs larger weight and relatively lower height. For example, weightlifting, tug of war, and rugby sevens. So BMI will depends on the sport. And this is my part, and I will now pass it to my groupmate.
Then we come to athletes number trend. In this line chart, x-axis represents year and y-axis represents number. We found that no Olympics were held during World War I and World War II. We also can see some fluctuation. This is because after 1994, Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics are held separately. In this line chart, the higher line represents summer number and the other one winter number. We found that except for some special Olympics, the number of athletes participating in the Olympics has shown a steady and rapid increase. After the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, it began to stabilize and gradually increase year by year. We also found 5 low points. This is because funding issues and tense international relations led to the decrease of the participating number. This is a number trend in a global perspective. And after this design, we have several findings. Athletes from 5 continents participated together for the first time in the 1912 Olympics. The changing trend of the number of participants is basically the same as the overall, but we can see which countries did not participate in some specific years due to the situation of international relations clearly. For example, the 1980 Moscow Olympics were boycotted by Western nations led by the United States. And the first time China participated in the Games is 1932, and the number of participants reached the peak in 2008 Beijing Olympic Games. We designed this chart to see male and female trend. Both male and female has increased as time went on, and low points have been discussed. We can find that more and more women participated in the Olympics. In order to solve the problem of the last design, we use percentage for describing the outstanding increasing trend of female athletes. We found that the social status of female is increasing, and there is a balance between male and female during the last 120 years. This visualization was designed to see female-to-male ratio trend in a global perspective, and we found that in the middle of the 20th century, the ratio of female to male in the world was not very obvious. After this, we can see that the ratio has increased significantly. And at the end of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century, Argentina, China, Myanmar, and several other African countries such as Congo, Mali, and Angola have a high-level ratio. Then I will pass it to my teammates to introduce the following part.
So right now I will introduce some secret behind the age distribution of athletes. In more than 100 years, the change in the age of Olympic participants reflects the changes in the system and the sport itself. Athletes in different sports often have different average age. We can vividly see this secret through the data visualization method. So from this figure, it is easy to find the athlete's average age is very high in first few Olympic Games. However, after World War II, the average age kept decreasing and stabilized at almost 25, and the 20 to 30 years old is always the main force in Olympic area. So what caused such high average age at first few Olympic Games? So we found that there is a special sport set in few Olympic Games, the art competition. We have never heard it until this time. So in 1906, the Olympic Organizing Committee approved 5 Olympic art competition projects: architecture, literature, music, painting, and sculpture. But the plan was not smooth from the beginning. Almost no one paid attention on it until in 1924, the Paris Olympic. So there are 2 events caused it to be cancelled finally. So first, Hitler promoted their Nazi art through an art competition in 1936 Berlin Olympics. After World War II, the 1948 London Olympics, all participating artists were professional artists. So the organizing committee believed that this is contrary to the original intention of the competition. The reason for the extremely abnormal age of 1924 to 1948 can also be explained. So except the art competition, the average age of some other sports is also not young. The golf, shooting are the oldest sports. So in general, the more intense the sport, the younger the average age of the athletes, like swimming and skiing. And totally different from the art competition and shooting. At sports with high physical requirements, we can see in this figure that athletes who participate in gymnastics and swimming are very young. The majority of these athletes are still teenagers. And in this figure, we can more clearly observe that there are many older athletes joining the Olympic Games. This exactly reflects the spirit of the Olympic Games. Never give up. So this is all visualization we made in this project. So our visualization design follows a row overview first, zoom and filter, and changed our details with our demand. And then, with the purple encoding channel, we can fulfill the goal of emphasize and clearly present our findings. So because this is the first time we learned the data visualization, so our design focus mostly on functionality but not aesthetics. So if we have time later, we will focus on improving the aesthetics with the help graphic designers. So that's all. Thank you.